So Armaf recently launched this particular perfume called Club de Nuit Intense Overdose, and this is another flanker to the Club de Nuit lineup. So in this video of the Scent Saga POV or the Scent Saga viewpoint, we're going to talk about from my lens what this perfume is, who should buy it, who should skip it, what is the projection, what is the longevity. In short, a no hype, straightforward review of the Club de Nuit Intense Overdose. First things first, this is in collaboration with Indian film star John Abraham. That is the reason they have written John Abraham edition over here. And straight right out of the box, this perfume is basically a twist or a clone of a very popular Creed lineup, which is Creed Aventus Absolu, but there are some twists which I'm going to talk about in this video, and there is a very specific criteria whether you should purchase or you skip it. I'm going to talk about it very soon. But first, let me talk about something weird that they have done with this particular perfume. They have mentioned the notes. Okay, I don't know if Armaf's marketing team or any team for that matter was looking at Breaking Bad while making the notes or listing the notes, because they have introduced blue crystal at the top note and white powder at the base note. Blue crystal, white powder. If you know, you know. Okay, but there is nothing. I mean, it's a gimmick according to me. The blue crystals that Armaf is trying to mention over here, I think, is some ozonic accord. It could be Hedion or something like that. And the white powder at the base, I think, is some synthetic notes or orris, in my opinion, to get the powdery, velvety texture to the entire perfume. And that's pretty much it. I mean, that is where I think the notes are kind of, added for the marketing purposes. Nothing. I mean, as far as they have done this gimmicky part into the notes, they have done really well with the perfume blend. And quite frankly, this is basically a Creed Aventus Absolu with some sweeter nuances. They have introduced the note of plum and vanilla in the middle, and at the top they have introduced tangerine, which is basically another form of an orange, you can say. So the top is a bit more fruitier and it's perfectly fine for the Indian weather, in my opinion, because somehow that fruity nuances adds a bit of depth for the humidity. I mean, in the areas where it's humid in India, this fruity nuances will be enjoyed much. For anybody out there who wants that smoky birch-like feeling in the perfume, which is very reminiscent of Creed Aventus, the original, it kind of has that part as well. So the OG Aventus Absolu does not have that smoky accord as much as this does. Over here, it's a bit more in the realm of sweetness. So whether you should buy it or skip it, we will talk about it later with the criteria. But as a whole, does this perfume smell amazing? Quite frankly, it does. It's a very good perfume, and in terms of the scent profile, it's very close to the DNA of Aventus Absolu. But you will understand that Aventus Absolu has got some more spices, and there is a cardamom, there is a gingery kick into the Aventus Absolu direction. If in case I have to sum up the DNA of Aventus Absolu to a layman, that's going to be Creed Aventus opening with the dry down of Dior Sauvage Elixir. You mix them together, you get Creed Aventus Absolu. Creed Aventus and Dior Sauvage Elixir to a layman. But there are some obvious nuances. There is some soapiness, there is some woodiness, there is some spices, there is some sweetness. It's a complex perfume, but 75 ml for 33,000. I really don't get the point. But to an enthusiast, to somebody who's a perfume fanatic or a collector, that's something that they will genuinely go for, and I don't have a problem with that. But for us, people like us, this is a really good perfume. And shout out to Elixbloom. Basically what happened was they have a perfume WhatsApp community, and over there they dropped this perfume. So I quickly texted them over like, do you have the partial for this? I want to review it. And they were kind enough to send me the partial at a much discounted rate than what is available on the internet, so that I can make the review. So thank you, Elixbloom, for helping me source this perfume at a cheaper rate. If in case you want to check the site out for buying any Middle Eastern perfume, you can genuinely go ahead and do that. But just because I'm mentioning something doesn't really mean that you have to go and buy perfumes from that specific website only. Okay, with that out of the way, I really want to talk about the performance and longevity of this particular perfume. It's awesome. Around 1.5 hours this projected very well, but it's not a nuclear projecting perfume or a room feeler projecting perfume where you're going to get inside the room and everybody's like, oh my god, what are you wearing? Not like that, but anybody coming in close proximity to you will be able to get the whiff of the perfume for the first 1.5 to 2 hours easily. And on clothes in a controlled AC environment, this lasted for around 7 hours. And this is an extra de parfum concentration, so in terms of the projection and longevity, there is no complaint as such. So in terms of the smell profile, I already told you, this is an Aventus Absolu kind of a twist, or a rendition, flanker, you can say. So where does this stand? Should you buy it or should you skip it? Now, here are two different school of thoughts that I want to keep. What if you own something like Mont Blanc Explorer or a CDNI? This is a pure parfum. I already have the limited edition at the back. What if you have these perfumes, Creed Aventus OG DNA? Although they are not 100% similar, but in the dry down, they do mimic Creed Aventus. And you are kind of bored by that Creed Aventus with that just birchy, birch tar, oak moss kind of a perfume, and you want some depth on top of it. Then this makes absolute sense. At 4,000 rupees for 100 ml, this is actually very, very, very good. And I feel in terms of the projection, in terms of the blend quality, everything, this deserves your wallet. Okay, you can go ahead and actually purchase it. However, what if you already have these in your lineup? You may have Supremacy Not Only Intense, you may have Armaf Precieux, or you may have the cheaper Theoreme Matrix, or you may have Collector's Edition. I already have a decant, or a Dumont Nitro Intense, or even a Mohammad Qamar Aventus Absolu. What happens if you have these? Should you still purchase the Overdose? My answer would be no. If you already own a Precieux and you have paid 5,000 or 5,000 plus for a 55 ml juice, I mean, you got robbed, man, because the same company, Armaf, has launched Overdose. I don't know what they were thinking over here, but I think their mind came into the right senses when they launched it. Although there are some nuances in between these two. I mean, there is some nuanced differences, but it doesn't make sense. Still, I don't know why you should buy this at 5,000 plus for a 55 ml if you have this. So if you don't have this, then go for this. If you already own this, you're going to be disappointed because Armaf launched something better than Precieux as of now. If you already have got a Theoreme Matrix, this is available at 2,000 rupees, and the perfume's performance and longevity is not as good as Overdose. Also, the blend quality is not as good as Overdose, but is it twice better? I mean, because this is available at 2,000 around and this is available at around 4,000. Is this 2x better than this? The answer is no. This is just Overdose is just a polished upgrade over Theoreme Matrix. So you really don't need Overdose if you have Matrix. If in case you own Supremacy Not Only Intense, I feel over here Afnan was kind of one step ahead of Creed Aventus, because when they launched this, people were saying this is like Hachivat, this is like Aventus. It's kind of mixed in between the two. Once you smell Aventus Absolu, you will understand that some of the nuances of Aventus Absolu is also available in Supremacy Not Only Intense, which is amazing, I would say. And I think Afnan was way ahead of its time when they launched this. And if you own this is a tad bit less sweeter, a tad bit more mossy, a tad bit more birchy when it compares with Overdose. But then again, if in case you just want to add a bit of sweetness into the mix, then you may get it, or else you can skip it if in case already you own a Supremacy Not Only Intense. What if you own a Collector's Edition or a Dumont Nitro Intense? The answer is simple. You don't need it. Collector's Edition from Afnan is anyway great. I mean, you don't need it. Afnan and Armaf are trying to compete for the Aventus Absolu DNA, and you have the Collector's Edition and you have the Overdose. If in case you do not have the Collector's Edition, then Overdose makes sense. If in case you already have Collector's Edition, then Overdose is just redundant for you. What about Mohammad Qamar's Aventus Absolu? This by far is the closest to the DNA of Aventus Absolu in my opinion. Even in my clone war, this was the winner, but over here, this and this has got some differences. This is more sweeter, this is more oak mossy, this is more smoky, and this is just an overdose of everything. The name, is justified. It's Overdose. So if in case you want, because this is inexpensive, you can obviously step up to this. But if in case you're looking for the best clone of Aventus Absolu, still I feel that Mohammad Qamar's is the closest. However, performance and everything, the blend quality, these are all top notch over here. Much better than, Aventus Absolu from Mohammad Qamar as well. So that is my review for Armaf's Club de Nuit Overdose. You let me know if in case you have purchased it, what has been your experience, and if you're liking the Scent Saga POV or the Scent Saga viewpoint, what's your opinion? Which perfume should I review next? Everything. I mean, the comment section is open for you. You can tell me whatever you want to, and I will read the comments, respond to it, and take feedback from it. So with that, this is Deep signing off. I'll see you on the next one very soon. Bye-bye.